The alarm screamed through the bridge of the quiet horizon. Captain Lith's long fingers trembled as they moved across the control panel. The Velen's translucent skin showed the blue blood rushing through delicate veins. Fear made everything worse. 6 ships, reported the sensor officer, voice breaking. All Kraith military vessels, they're closing fast. Lith knew what this meant. The Kraith Dominion didn't negotiate with traders. They took what they wanted. Sometimes they let the crews live. Sometimes they didn't. The Quiet Horizon was a peaceful trading ship. It carried food supplies, medical equipment, and art from the Velen homeworld. The crew of 20 had no weapons training. Their ship had only basic defensive shields. Those shields wouldn't stop Kraith plasma cannons for more than a few seconds. "Open all channels," Leith ordered. "Send a distress signal on every frequency." The communications officer worked quickly. Within moments, the SOS went out into space. It was a simple message. They gave their position, their ship name, and a plea for help. Anyone who could hear them, anyone who could save them. "Will anyone come?" asked the young navigator. She was barely old enough to leave the homeworld. Lith didn't answer. The truth was too cruel. Everyone in this sector knew about the Kraith. Everyone knew that helping their victims meant war with the Dominion. No government would risk it, not for one small trading ship. The Kraith vessels moved into attack formation. They were dark ships, covered in weapon ports and armor plating. They looked like predators. The Quiet Horizon looked like prey. "They're hailing us," said the communications officer. "Ignore it," Leith said quietly. "Keep broadcasting the distress signal." The first shot came without warning. A plasma bolt struck their rear shield. The whole ship shook, lights flickered. Somewhere below, someone screamed. "Shields at 60%, reported the sensor officer. Another shot, then another. The Kraith weren't trying to destroy them yet. They were playing, testing, having fun with the helpless Velens. Lith closed all 4 eyes. This was how it would end. Far from home, in empty space, killed by raiders while the galaxy looked away. Then the sensor officer gasped. "Captain, new contact." "Another Kraith ship?" Leth asked, already knowing their fate was sealed. "No, unknown vessel. It just dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the system's edge. The signature is strange. I've never seen a ship designed like this." Lith pulled up the sensor display. The new ship was bizarre. It was blocky and crude compared to the elegant curves of Velen or even Kraith designs. The hull was covered in thick armor plating. Weapon ports dotted every surface. It looked like someone had built a flying fortress. "Transponder says it's called the Teguk," the communications officer reported, "registered to something called the United Earth Colonial Fleet." Earth? Lith had never heard of it. Where is Earth? No one knew. The Kraith had noticed the new arrival, too. Their ships held position, weapons still aimed at the Quiet Horizon, but not firing. They were waiting to see what this stranger would do. The communications panel lit up. "Captain, we're being hailed by the unknown ship." "Answer it," Lith said. The voice that came through was deep and calm. It spoke in perfect galactic common, though the accent was strange. "This is Captain Minho of the UECF Teguk. We received your distress call. Stand by." Stand by? Lith didn't understand. Stand by for what? There were 6 Kraith warships. The human ship was alone. "Captain Minho," Lith said carefully, "we appreciate your response, but the situation is dangerous. The Kraith Dominion doesn't tolerate interference. You should leave while you can." There was a pause. Then Minho spoke again, and Lith could hear something like amusement in his voice. "Captain Lith, we didn't come all this way to leave. Just stay out of the firing line." The Teguk began moving forward. It didn't dodge or weave. It flew straight toward the 6 Kraith warships like an arrow. "What are they doing?" whispered the navigator. "That's suicide!" The Kraith commander must have thought the same thing. A message came through on the open channel, broadcast so everyone could hear. The Kraith voice was harsh and full of confidence. Unknown vessel, you have entered Kraith Dominion territory and interfered with our operations. Turn back now or be destroyed. Minho's response was short. No. Just one word. Just a simple refusal. The Kraith didn't know how to respond. In their experience, everyone feared them. Everyone backed down. But this human captain sounded almost bored. You dare refuse the Dominion? The Kraith commander roared. We will tear your primitive ship apart. You can try, Minho said. The Taeguk was now between the quiet horizon and the Kraith vessels. Lith realized the human ship had positioned itself as a shield. They were protecting the Velans. Why are they doing this? The censor officer asked. They don't know us. They owe us nothing. Lith had no answer. The Kraith lost patience. 3 of their ships opened fire at once. Plasma bolts and energy beams shot through space toward the Taeguk. The human ship didn't dodge. It took every hit straight on its thick armor. The impacts made bright flashes, but when they cleared, the Taeguk was still there, undamaged, still flying forward. Impossible, breathed Lith. No ship can take that much fire. Captain, said the censor officer, voice shaking, I'm reading the Taeguk's armor thickness. It's 30 centimeters of bonded alloys. 30 centimeters. That's 10 times thicker than military standards. What kind of species builds ships like that? Asked the navigator. They were about to find out. The Taeguk returned fire. But it didn't use energy weapons. Instead, long rails along its hull glowed bright. There was a flash, and something shot out at incredible speed. Projectile weapons, Lith said in disbelief. They're using solid ammunition. The projectile hit the nearest Kraith ship. It punched straight through the energy shields as if they weren't there. The shields were designed to deflect energy, not physical matter moving at near light speed. The slug tore through the hull, through the internal compartments, and out the other side. The Kraith ship broke apart. Atmosphere vented into space. Debris scattered in all directions. 5 seconds. 1 shot. 1 kill. The other Kraith ships scattered in panic, but the Taeguk was already firing again. And again. Each shot was precise. Each shot found its target. They're not just fighting back, Lith whispered in awe. They're winning. The human ship moved like a predator. Fast, aggressive, unafraid. It chased down the Kraith vessels, hammering them with those terrible railguns. 2 more Kraith ships exploded. A 4th lost its engines and tumbled helplessly through space. The remaining 2 Kraith vessels ran. They jumped into faster-than-light travel and disappeared. Silence filled the bridge of the quiet horizon. Everyone stared at their displays, trying to process what they'd just seen. The communications panel lit up again. Captain Lith, this is Minho. The immediate threat is neutralized. Are your people injured? Lith had to try twice before finding his voice. No, we're all safe. Thanks to you. Good. We'll escort you to the nearest safe port. And Captain, welcome to meet humanity. Lith looked at the Taeguk on his display. The powerful, brutal, efficient ship. A ship built by Deathworlders. The galaxy, Lith realized, had just changed forever. 2 hours after the battle, Captain Lith stood in the docking bay of the quiet horizon. The airlock showed green. The humans were coming aboard. Remember, Lith told the crew, these beings saved our lives. Show respect, show gratitude, and try not to stare. The airlock door opened. Captain Minho walked through first. Lith had seen many species in 30 years of trading across the galaxy, but nothing prepared him for humans. Minho was shorter than most Velans, but he looked solid, dense. His skin was tan and opaque, hiding whatever was underneath. Dark hair, dark eyes that seemed to track everything at once. He moved with fluid grace that reminded Lith of hunting animals from nature documentaries. 3 more humans followed. First Officer Jiho was taller, with a sharp gaze and quick movements. Weapons Specialist Hana had scars on her hands and a confident smile. Engineer Taiho carried a tool bag and looked around with obvious curiosity. "Captain Lath," Minho said, extending his hand. Lith knew this gesture from the cultural database. Humans touched each other for greeting. He carefully placed his long, delicate fingers in Minho's hand. The human's grip was gentle, but Lith could feel the strength there, like touching a sleeping predator. "Captain Minho, thank you for saving us. We owe you our lives." "Just doing what's right," Minho said. "Anyone would have done the same." "No," Lith said quietly. "No one else did. You were the only ones who answered." An uncomfortable silence fell. Hana broke it by looking around the bay. "Nice ship. Clean design. How fast can she go?" "0.7 light speed in normal space," Lith answered, grateful for the simple question. "Class 5 FTL drive for longer jumps." Taiho whistled. "That's quick. Our FTL is only Class 3, but we make up for it with durability." "We noticed," said the sensor officer, speaking up nervously. "Your armor is extraordinary. How do you move with all that weight?" "Big engines," Jiho said with a grin. "Everything about human ships is big. Engines, weapons, armor. We don't do subtle." Lith led them to the meeting room. The humans had to duck through some doorways. The chairs were too fragile for them, so they stood. It made the height difference less obvious, but somehow made the humans seem more imposing. "I need to ask," Lith said. "Where is Earth? Our databases have no record of your world." Minho pulled up a holographic star chart. He pointed to a region marked in red. "There, that's our system." Lith's blood went cold. "That's a quarantine zone. Class 12 Deathworld region. No explorer has ever gone there and returned." "Class 12 is right," Minho agreed. "Earth has one gravity of pull, oxygen atmosphere, weather patterns that include hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, active tectonic plates that cause earthquakes. We have large predators in every ecosystem, diseases, parasites, venomous creatures." "How do you survive?" asked the navigator, horrified. Hana laughed. It was a warm sound, but somehow it still made the Velans nervous. "We don't just survive, we thrive. Earth made us strong. It made us tough. It made us good at fighting because everything on our planet wanted to eat us for millions of years." "You evolved in constant warfare," Lith said, understanding dawning. "With nature, with animals, with each other," Jiho confirmed. "For most of our history, humans fought. We're good at it. It's in our bones." Taiho added, "But we also learned to work together, to build, to create. Earth didn't just make us warriors, it made us survivors who take care of our own." "Is that why you helped us?" Lith asked. "Because we're weak?" "No," Minho said firmly. "We helped because you called for help, because you were civilians under attack by bullies. That's reason enough." The communications panel beeped. The sensor officer's voice came through, panicked. "Captain, we have multiple FTL signatures incoming. It's a Kraith fleet." Everyone moved at once. The humans ran for their ship with frightening speed. Lith rushed to the bridge. His hands shook as he pulled up the sensor display. 20 Kraith warships had just arrived. No, 30. No, the count kept going up. 50 ships surrounded them in a battle formation. A transmission came through. The Kraith commander's face filled the screen. It was War Leader Vrek, one of the most feared officers in the Dominion. "Humans of Earth," Vrek growled. "You destroyed our ships. You interfered with Dominion operations. You will surrender immediately, or we will destroy you and every Velan on that trading vessel." Lith closed his eyes. This was it. The humans had tried to help, but now they would all die together. Then Minho's voice came through on the same channel. "War Leader Vrek, this is Captain Minho. We're not surrendering. If you want to fight, we'll give you one." "You are one ship," Vrek roared. "We are 50. "No," Minho said calmly. "We're 5 ships. The rest of our squadron just arrived." Leith checked the sensors. 4 more human vessels had dropped out of FTL. They moved into formation around the Taeguki. Their transponders identified them as the Dokdo, Incheon, Gwangju, and the Busan. The last one was massive, twice the size of the others. 5 against 50, Freck said. "You are insane." "Probably," Minho agreed. "But we're also armed, angry, and really tired of bullies, so let's see who wins." The human ships began moving forward. Not away from the Kraith fleet, toward it. "They're attacking!" the Velen sensor officer shouted. "They're actually attacking!" The Busan opened its launching bays. Dozens of small fighters poured out like angry insects. Each one was barely large enough for a single pilot. "They send living pilots in those tiny ships?" Lith said in horror. "The G-forces will kill them." But the human pilots were laughing over the open communications. Lith could hear them cheering, calling out to each other. "This is Sora. I've got the left flank. Hyun here, taking the right. Let's show them how Earth fights." The fighters moved with impossible speed. They pulled turns that should have crushed their pilots into paste. They dodged and weaved through Kraith fire like they were dancing. Then the capital ships opened up. Railguns flashed. Missiles launched. Something that looked like a nuclear weapon detonated between 3 Kraith vessels, and when the flash cleared, all 3 were tumbling wrecks. "Did they just use atomic weapons?" the navigator whispered. "Yes," Lith said, unable to look away from the display. "They still use atomic weapons in space combat." The battle was chaos. The Kraith had numbers and energy weapons. The humans had armor, kinetic weapons, and absolutely no fear. They flew straight into enemy fire, taking hits that would destroy any other ship, and kept fighting. A Kraith plasma lance hit the Dokdo dead center. The ship's front armor glowed red-hot, but it didn't penetrate. The Dokdo returned fire, and another Kraith vessel exploded. The human fighters were everywhere. They strafed the Kraith ships, targeting weapon ports and engines with precision. 2 fighters got hit. One spun away with smoke trailing from its engines, but the pilot ejected safely. The other took heavy damage, but somehow kept flying. "Target locked," Lith heard pilot Sora say over the comm. "Firing all weapons." The damaged fighter crashed straight into a Kraith cruiser. The explosion lit up the display. "No!" Lith cried out. "She killed herself!" "Negative," came Sora's voice, breathless but alive. "Ejected half a second before impact. Someone pick me up. I'm freezing out here." The battle lasted an hour. When it ended, 20 Kraith ships were destroyed. 8 more were too damaged to fight. The rest ran away, jumping to FTL with war leader Vrek screaming threats. The human ships had damage, scorch marks, cracked armor, broken weapon ports, but all 5 were still flying. Minho's voice came through to the quiet horizon. "Captain Lith, we're going to need repairs. Know any good stations around here?" Lith started laughing. It was probably shock. "Captain Minho, after what I just saw, I'll take you anywhere you want to go." "Good," Minho said, "because we need to talk about what happens next." The station was called Haven Port. It orbited a neutral world in a quiet system. Ships from dozens of species stopped here to trade and repair. It was one of the few places where everyone agreed to keep the peace. The quiet horizon docked first. Then the 5 human ships arrived. Every person on the station stopped to watch. Some came out of curiosity. Others came out of fear. Word of the battle had already spread. Captain Leith invited the human crews to a private meeting room. 20 humans came. They looked tired but satisfied. Some had bandages. None complained about their injuries. Lith provided food and drinks. The humans ate with enthusiasm. Taiho tried the Velen fruit juice and declared it delicious. Hana examined the protein bars with curiosity before taking a bite. "This is wonderful," she said. "We've been eating military rations for 3 months." "You've been traveling for 3 months?" Lith asked. Minho nodded. "We're a scout squadron. Earth sent us to explore this region and make contact with other species. We're supposed to be finding trade partners, not fighting wars. Yet you fought anyway, said the Velen navigator. She'd insisted on attending the meeting. The young woman seemed fascinated by the humans. Someone needed help, Jiho said simply. We couldn't ignore that. Medical Officer Minji spoke up. She was shorter than the other humans with quick, clever eyes. Captain Lith, we'd like to understand more about the Kraith. Why does everyone fear them? Why didn't anyone else answer your distress call? Lith spread his long fingers on the table. The Kraith Dominion controls 1/3 of this sector. 30 systems pay them tribute. They have hundreds of warships and thousands of soldiers. Most species here evolved on peaceful worlds. Low gravity, mild weather, no predators. We're not built for war. The Kraith are stronger than us, more aggressive, so we submit. That's slavery, Hana said, her voice hard. That's survival, Lith replied sadly. The Galactic Council has tried negotiation. The Kraith take what they want anyway. We're simply not capable of fighting them. But you could be, said Pilot Sora. She had a burn scar on her arm from the battle, but seemed unbothered. You could learn. You could resist. We're too fragile, the navigator said. Look at me. My bones are hollow. My skin is thin. One good hit and I'd break. We're not warriors like you. We weren't always warriors, Minho said. Humans fought each other for thousands of years. It was stupid and wasteful. We nearly destroyed ourselves. But we learned. We grew. Now we use that strength to protect instead of destroy. Taiho pulled up a holographic display. This is Earth, our homeworld. The image showed a blue and green planet. Beautiful clouds swirled across the surface. It looked peaceful. Scan deeper, Taiho said. The display changed. Data streamed across the screen. Gravity readings, atmosphere composition, weather patterns, geological activity. Lith felt his blood chill as he read the numbers. This can't be right. 1 full gravity? That would crush us. It's right, Minji confirmed. Earth's gravity shaped our entire evolution. We needed strong bones, strong muscles, strong organs just to stand up. When we came to space and found low-gravity worlds, we felt like we could fly. Your atmosphere is 21% oxygen, the sensor officer said, reading the display. That's corrosive. It would poison most species. We breathe it every day, Jiho said. Our cells need it. It's why we have so much endurance. Oxygen is powerful fuel. And these weather patterns, Lith continued reading, storms with winds over 200 kilometers per hour, temperature swings of 50 degrees. How does anything survive? We build shelters, Hana said. We adapt, we endure. Earth is harsh, but it made us strong. The navigator pointed to another section of the data. There's an entire classification of creatures here labeled megafauna. Some weigh over 5,000 kilograms. Did you hunt these? Our ancestors did, Sora said with pride. With primitive weapons, spears and arrows. Later with guns. Humans learned to hunt creatures 10 times our size through cooperation and intelligence. And these, the sensor officer said, voice shaking, microscopic organisms labeled as pathogens. You have diseases? Thousands, Minji said. Viruses, bacteria, parasites. Our immune systems are constantly fighting. It's made them incredibly strong. We rarely get sick on other worlds because we've already survived worse on our own. Lith sat back in his chair. He felt dizzy. You're from a Class 12 death world, the most dangerous classification. Species don't evolve on worlds like that. They die. We didn't die, Minho said quietly. We survived. We thrived. We reached for the stars. And now we're here. Why? Lith asked. Why leave such a world? Why risk coming to space? Because it's in our nature, Jiho answered. Humans are explorers, curious. We see something new, and we want to understand it. We see a horizon, and we want to know what's beyond it. We heard your distress call and we wanted to help. The Kraith won't forget what you did, Lith warned. They'll come back with more ships. They'll want revenge. Let them come, Hana said coldly. We'll be ready. But why risk it? The navigator asked. This isn't your fight. You could leave. Go somewhere safe. The humans looked at each other. Something passed between them without words. Minho spoke for all of them. We could leave, but we won't, because if we do, the Kraith will keep hurting people like you. They'll keep taking what they want. They'll keep being bullies because no one stops them. You can't fight the entire Dominion, Lith said desperately. 5 ships against hundreds. 5 human ships, Sora corrected. From a species that evolved fighting every day just to survive. We've fought nature, we've fought beasts, we've fought each other. The Kraith don't scare us. Besides, Teho added, we're not alone anymore. We have you. Lith blinked in confusion. Us? But we can't fight. We're traitors, not soldiers. You can learn, Minji said gently. We can teach you. Not to be warriors like us, but to defend yourselves. To say no when someone tries to hurt you. And we're not asking you to fight our battles, Minho added. We're offering to stand with you while you learn to fight your own. The room fell silent. Lith looked at his crew. The navigator had tears in her eyes. The sensor officer was trembling. They'd lived in fear for so long. What would you need from us? Lith asked. Information, Jiho said. Tell us about the Kraith, their bases, their supply lines, their weaknesses. Tell us about other species who suffer under them. Help us understand this sector. And then? Then we go back to Earth, Minho said. We make our report. We tell them there are good people here who need help. And Earth sends more than 5 ships. How many ships does Earth have? The navigator asked. Hana grinned. Enough. Trust me. Enough. Lith stood. His legs felt weak, but he managed to stay upright. He extended his hand the way humans did. Minho took it carefully. Captain Minho, on behalf of the Velen people, I accept your offer. We'll help however we can, and we'll learn from you. Good, Minho said, squeezing gently. Because the galaxy is about to change. The Kraith thought they were the strongest species in this sector. They were wrong. They just didn't know it yet. Sora laughed. Wait until they hear that Earth has 70 colonies, and every single one has a defense fleet. Taiho nodded. And wait until they learn humans hold grudges. They attacked us first. That was their mistake. Lith released Minho's hand. For the first time in years, he felt something strange, something he'd almost forgotten. Hope. Welcome to our galaxy, humans of Earth, he said. I think you're going to change everything. That's the plan, Minho agreed. That's exactly the plan. The warning came 2 days later. Sensors across Haven Port lit up with alerts. Ships were dropping out of FTL at the system's edge. Lots of ships. Captain Lith ran to the observation deck where Minho and his officers were studying star charts. The human turned to face him, already reading the concern on the Velen's face. They're here, Lith said. The Kraith, it's a full battle fleet. Minho moved to the sensor display. His expression didn't change as the numbers climbed. 10 ships, 20, 30. The count kept rising. 50 warships, Jiho said, reading over his shoulder. Led by war leader Vrek, he brought everything he could. We need to evacuate the station, Lith said. Get the civilians to safety. No time, Hana said, pointing at the tactical screen. They're already moving. They'll be in weapons range in 30 minutes. Minho tapped his communicator. All human ships, this is Minho. Battle stations, prepare for combat. Captain, Lith said desperately. There are 50 of them. You only have 5 ships. This is suicide. Maybe, Minho said calmly, but they're about to learn something important about humans. What's that? We don't know how to quit. The 5 human ships undocked from Haven Port and moved into formation. The Teguk, took point. The Dokdo and Incheon flanked left and right. The Gwangju covered the rear. The massive carrier Busan sat in the center, its launching bays already opening. Captain Nari of the Busan appeared on the communication screen. She was older than Minho, with gray hair and sharp eyes. "Captain Minho, I'm launching all fighters. We'll throw everything we have at them." "Understood. Coordinate with my weapons officer." Hana was already working, fingers flying across her control panel. "I've mapped their formation. The command ship is in the center, protected by the others. We need to break through." "Then we break through," Minho said simply. The Kraith fleet formed a wall of ships, 50 warships with energy shields glowing, weapon ports open, ready to destroy the humans who dared to defy them. War Leader Rex's voice boomed across the open channel. "Humans of Earth, this is your last chance. Surrender now or be destroyed." Minho opened a channel back. "Vrek, this is your last chance. Turn around and leave. We don't want to kill you, but we will." Vrek's laughter echoed through space. 5 ships against 50. You are insane." "Probably," Minho agreed. "But let's find out together." The human ships accelerated, not away from the Kraith fleet, straight toward it. Lith watched from Havenport's observation deck. Every civilian on the station was watching. Dozens of species held their breath as 5 human ships charged 50 Kraith warships. "They're really doing it," the navigator whispered beside Lith. "They're actually attacking." The Busan launched its fighters. 60 small ships poured out in tight formation. Lith recognized pilot Sora's voice over the comm channel. "All wings, this is Sora. Stay tight, watch each other's backs, and remember we're human." "We don't lose." "Copy that," came Pilot Yunho's response. "Blue wing is ready." "Red wing standing by," added Pilot Gina. "Let's show them Earth's fury." The fighters shot forward at impossible speeds. They moved like arrows, like bullets, like nothing Lith had ever seen. The G-forces should have killed the pilots. Instead, they flew faster. The Kraith opened fire. Energy beams and plasma bolts filled space with deadly light. The human ships flew straight into it. The first hit struck the Dokdo. The shields flared and died almost instantly. But beneath those shields was armor. Thick, dense, brutal armor that didn't care about energy weapons. The plasma bolts scorched the surface. The energy beams made it glow, but they didn't penetrate. The Dokdo returned fire. Railguns flashed. Physical projectiles accelerated to near light speed. They punched through Kraith shields like they were made of paper. The first Kraith cruiser took a hit dead center. The slug went in one side and out the other. The ship broke apart from internal explosions. "One down," Hana reported. 49 to go. The fighters reached the Kraith line. They split into groups, each targeting different ships. Sora's wing went after the left flank. Yunho took the right. Gina's red wing drove straight up the middle. The human pilots dodged and weaved through enemy fire. They moved in 3 dimensions using every axis. Up, down, spinning, rolling, always moving. The Kraith gunners couldn't track them. "Target locked," Sora said calmly. She sounded like she was taking a walk, not fighting for her life. Firing missiles. Her fighter launched a salvo. 6 missiles streaked toward a Kraith destroyer. Its point defense systems shot down 4. 2 got through. The explosions tore holes in the hull. "Hull breach confirmed," reported Sora. "They're venting atmosphere. Moving to next target." The capital ships pushed deeper into the Kraith formation. The Incheon took a direct hit from a plasma lance. The weapon was designed to burn through any armor. It burned through half of the Incheon's armor before stopping. "Damage report," Minho demanded. "Port side armor compromised," came the response from the Incheon's captain. "But we're still flying, still fighting." "Keep going." The Taeguk launched nuclear missiles. Lith watched in horror as 3 atomic weapons detonated among the Kraith ships. The blasts were massive. 4 Kraith vessels were caught in the explosions, their shields overloaded, their hulls buckled. Did they just use nuclear weapons? The station commander asked, standing beside Lith. In a space battle? Yes, Lith said quietly. Humans still use nuclear weapons. The battle became chaos. 50 Kraith ships surrounded 5 human ships, but the humans refused to die. They took hit after hit, their armor absorbing damage that would destroy any other vessel. And they kept firing back. The Gwangju lost its front cannon. A Kraith plasma torpedo destroyed the weapon port completely. The ship didn't retreat. It closed distance and used its remaining guns at point-blank range. "Ram speed!" the Gwangju's captain ordered. "You're insane!" Rex shouted over the comm. "You keep saying that," the captain replied. "Maybe you're right." The Gwangju didn't actually ram the Kraith ship. Instead, it got close enough to target specific systems. Its railguns fired at the enemy's engines, weapons, and command deck. The Kraith ship died in seconds. Pilot Gina's voice came through, strained but determined. "I'm hit. Engines are failing." "Eject!" Yunho shouted. "Negative. I've still got weapons. I'm going to use them." Her fighter, trailing smoke and fire, dove at a Kraith cruiser. She fired everything she had. Missiles, guns, even her emergency flares. Then she hit the eject button half a second before impact. The fighter crashed into the cruiser's bridge. The explosion took out the entire command section. "Gina's clear," Sora reported. "Someone pick her up." "On it," said another pilot. The battle raged for an hour. Humans shouted orders, called out targets, covered each other. They bled and burned, but never stopped fighting. The Kraith had numbers. The humans had will. 20 Kraith ships were destroyed. 8 more were crippled, drifting with no power. The rest started pulling back. "All ships retreat," Freck ordered. "Fall back to FTL distance." The surviving Kraith vessels ran. They jumped to FTL travel and disappeared. Silence fell across the battlefield. Debris floated everywhere. But all 5 human ships were still intact. Damaged, scarred, but intact. Minho opened a channel to Haven Port. "Captain Lith, threat neutralized. We're standing down to yellow alert." Lith couldn't speak. He just stared at the display. 5 ships had fought 50, and won. The navigator started crying. They did it. They actually did it. All across Haven Port. Beings from a dozen species watched in awe. The humans had proven something today. They'd proven that the Kraith could be beaten. And if the Kraith could be beaten, maybe the galaxy didn't have to live in fear anymore. Maybe, Lith thought, maybe things really were about to change. News of the battle spread across the sector within days. Captain Lith watched it happen in real time. Messages poured into Haven Port from dozens of worlds. Some were curious, some were afraid, many were hopeful. The Torvan Assembly wanted to know more about humans. The Mikash Republic asked for trade agreements. The Pelian clusters requested military advisors. Species that had paid tribute to the Kraith for generations were suddenly asking questions. Could humans really beat the Dominion? Would they help others? What would they want in return? Minho sat in the meeting room with his officers reading through the messages. His expression was thoughtful. "We need to contact Earth," Jiho said. "Command needs to know what's happening here." "Already done," Minho replied. "I sent a full report yesterday. Response time will be 3 weeks for the signal to reach Earth and 3 weeks for their answer." "So we wait," Hana said. "No," Minho said. "We prepare. Something big is coming. I can feel it." He was right. 3 days later, the Galactic Council sent an official summons. They wanted to meet with Earth's representatives. Immediately. The Council met on a massive station called Unity Hall. It orbited a neutral star and belonged to no single species. Representatives from 40 species gathered in the Great Chamber. Minho attended with Jiho and Hana. Captain Lythe came too, representing the Velen people. They walked into the chamber together. The council members sat in a circle, each on a platform suited to their species. Some needed water tanks. Others needed specific gravity or atmosphere. All of them stared at the humans with a mix of fascination and fear. Chancellor Vryn, a tall insectoid being, spoke first. "Humans of Earth, you have disrupted the peace of this sector. Your actions have endangered countless lives." "Peace?" Hana said sharply. "You call Kraith occupation peace?" "The Kraith Dominion has existed for 200 years, another council member said. "We have learned to coexist with them." "You mean you've learned to submit?" Jiho said. Angry mutters rose from several council members. Chancellor Vryn raised a claw for silence. "You are a new species here. You do not understand our ways. The Kraith are powerful. We avoid conflict with them to preserve lives." "How many lives were lost to their raids?" Minho asked quietly. "How many species pay tribute they can barely afford? How many people live in fear?" "That is not the point," Vryn said. "The point is, you have started a war." "No," Captain Leth stood up. His voice shook but held firm. "The Kraith started the war 200 years ago. The humans just fought back." "Captain Leth," Vryn said with disapproval, "you are here as a witness, not a participant." "Then hear my witness," Leth said, gaining strength. "For 30 years I've traded across this sector. I've paid tribute. I've watched friends die in Kraith raids. I've seen species broken under occupation. You call it peace, I call it slavery." Other voices rose in support. Representatives from species that suffered under the Kraith spoke up. The chamber erupted in argument. Chancellor Vryn called for order. When quiet returned, he addressed Minho directly. "What do you want, Captain? Why did Earth send you here?" "We came to explore," Minho said, "to meet new species, to trade and learn. We didn't come looking for war." "Yet war found you. War found us because we answered a distress call, because we helped someone who needed it. Earth taught us that strength exists to protect the weak. We won't apologize for that." "The Kraith will send more ships," another council member warned. "Hundreds of ships. Can you defeat hundreds?" "Yes," Minho said simply. "Earth has 70 colony worlds. Each has a defense fleet. We can mobilize thousands of ships if needed, but we don't want war. We want something better." "What?" Vryn asked suspiciously. Jiho stepped forward. "An alliance, a coalition of free systems, species who want to stand together instead of kneeling separately. We'll provide military training, weapons technology, and protection while you build your own defenses." "What would you want in return?" "Trade," Hana said. "Knowledge exchange, cultural exchange, friendship. We're not here to conquer. We're here to help." The council members argued among themselves for hours. Some wanted to accept. Others feared Earth's power. Many worried about Kraith retaliation. Finally, Chancellor Vryn spoke. "The Council cannot reach consensus. Each species must decide for themselves whether to ally with Earth. We will not forbid it, but we will not endorse it either." "That's enough," Minho said. "That's all we ask. Let each species choose." The humans left the chamber with Lith. Outside, the Velen captain looked troubled. "They're afraid of you," he said. "Not just the Kraith. They're afraid humans will become the new conquerors." "We know," Minho said. "That's why we have to prove them wrong. Actions, not words." Over the next 3 months, 12 species formally allied with Earth. The Velens were first, then the Torvan, the Mikosh, the Pelians, and others. Each one had suffered under Kraith occupation. Each one wanted to fight back. Human ships began arriving in the sector, not warships at first, but cargo vessels carrying supplies. Engineers came to help build defenses. Military advisors came to train local forces. Teachers came to share knowledge. Captain Lith watched it happen from Haven Port. The station had become a hub for the new alliance. Humans and aliens worked side by side, building something new. One day, Minho invited Lith to observe a training exercise. A group of Velen volunteers were learning to use weapons. They looked awkward and nervous. The rifles were too heavy for their delicate frames. The body armor seemed excessive. But they were trying, learning, growing. "They'll never be soldiers like humans," Lith said. "We're not built for war." "You don't need to be like us," Minho replied. "You just need to be willing to defend yourselves, to say no to bullies. We'll handle the heavy fighting until you're ready. And when we're ready? Then you won't need us anymore. That's the goal." 6 months after the first battle, the Free Systems Alliance was officially formed. 12 species signed the charter. The alliance promised mutual defense, free trade, and cooperation. Earth provided military strength. The other species provided resources, knowledge, and homes. The Kraith Dominion tested them twice more. Both times, human ships arrived to help defend Alliance worlds. Both times, the Kraith retreated. They were learning that humans kept their promises. Lith stood on the bridge of the quiet horizon, now commissioned as an Alliance patrol ship. He had a mixed crew now, Velens and humans working together. It still felt strange, but also right. Minho visited one last time before returning to Earth. The human captain looked satisfied. "You did it," Lith said. "You changed everything." "We helped," Minho corrected. "But you did the hard part. You chose to stand up. You chose to fight back. That takes more courage than we ever showed. What will you do now?" "Go home, make my report, then probably come back. Earth is sending a full diplomatic mission. We're here to stay." Lith extended his hand for the human greeting. Minho took it gently. "Thank you," Lith said, "for answering our call, for everything." "Someone sends an SOS, we answer," Minho said. "That's what we do." The Teguk undocked and jumped to FTL. Lith watched it go, feeling a mix of sadness and hope. The humans were leaving, but they'd be back. They'd promised, and humans, Lith had learned, kept their promises. He turned to his crew. "All right, we have patrol routes to run. Let's show this sector what the Free Systems Alliance can do." The quiet horizon moved out of dock. Around them, ships from a dozen species did the same. The Alliance fleet was small now, but it would grow. Species that had lived in fear for generations were learning to hope again, and it all started with a simple distress call, with humans who heard that call and came running, with Deathworlders who brought firepower, but more importantly, brought friendship. The galaxy would never be the same, and Lith couldn't be happier about it.